It started like any ordinary Monday in Biloxi, Mississippi. Dr. Harris, a respected local dentist for over 30 years, walked into his practice expecting the usual cleanings, cavities, complaints about flossing. But when he got to the front door, something was off. The lock had been tampered with. Not forced, not broken, just subtly moved, like someone knew what they were doing. He stepped inside cautiously. Nothing was missing. No broken drawers, no missing meds, not even the cash box was touched. But the strangest clue was on the security monitor. Dr. Harris froze as he watched the motion-triggered footage from 2:13 a.m. the night before. A tall man had entered through the side hallway. He didn't wear a mask. He didn't try to hide. He just stood there, right in front of the security camera, for a full 7 minutes, completely still. His face looked normal at first. Unshaven, pale, wearing a long coat like he had stepped in from the rain. But the longer drive, Harris stared, the more he noticed the strange bulges under the man's cheeks. His jaw looked too wide, almost as if something was growing under the skin. Then came the moment that made drive Harris' stomach turn. The man slowly opened his mouth. It cracked unnaturally, side to side, like his jaw wasn't human. The camera zoomed just enough to show it clearly. This man didn't have one row of teeth. He didn't even have two. He had 4 full sets of human teeth. And each row looked alive, shifting, clicking, grinding. It wasn't natural. It wasn't even surgical. It was like his mouth had evolved into something else entirely. And then, without taking anything, the man turned and walked out. Dr. Harris immediately called the police. Officer Mallory came by within the hour and reviewed the footage with him. She didn't speak until the very end. When she finally did, her voice was tight and controlled. "You said you don't recognize him?" she asked. Dr. Harris shook his head. "No, never seen him before." "Funny," she said, "because 3 blocks over, Mr. Ellison's hardware store caught the same man on camera, 2 hours earlier. Just standing in the back aisle, not touching a thing. They pulled the footage. Same man, same long coat, same horrifying jaw." The investigation spread fast, but strangely, not publicly. The footage was marked internal use, and locals who claimed to have seen the man said they remembered nothing specific about his face. Just that his presence gave them an awful feeling, like the pressure before a nosebleed or a nightmare you can't quite remember. Some said they'd seen him in their dreams long before the break-ins started. Others said they'd spotted him standing at the edge of the marshlands, where no one goes at night. Then came the most chilling discovery of all. An old dental record from 1964, filed under the name Victor S. Grange, was found in the practice's archive, buried in the back with mold on the pages. The record showed X-rays of a boy with 4 rows of baby teeth. The note at the bottom read, "Mother said he never stopped teething. Jaw development highly abnormal. Boy complains of clicking sounds when eating." The final update in red ink. Family moved suddenly. Forwarding address unknown. Dr. Harris hadn't filed that record. He hadn't even opened that drawer in over a decade. People in town started hearing it. A soft clicking, like fingernails on glass, or dozens of teeth grinding together, echoing at night outside their windows. Some brushed it off as rodents. Others swore they saw a tall figure in the shadows, standing just far enough away that you couldn't see his face, but close enough to hear the sound. Children were waking up with bleeding gums. Dentures went missing from old folks' homes. One teen claimed he saw a man walking through the cemetery, his jaw opening and closing like he was chewing air. Things escalated when a local man, Robert Keene, a retired oral surgeon, was found unconscious in his home with his jaw dislocated. No signs of forced entry. No robbery. Just a message written on his mirror in dried mouthwash. "You took what was mine." Robert woke up 3 days later, traumatized, and said one thing before refusing to speak again. He smiled with teeth that didn't end. Dr. Harris became obsessed. He dug deeper into Victor S. Grange, tracing newspaper archives and folklore. What he found wasn't science. It was myth. An old local tale from the 1800s mentioned a tooth collector, not unlike the tooth fairy, but corrupted. A man cursed by witches in the bayou, whose hunger for teeth turned him into something inhuman. It was said he could smell a dentist's office from miles away. That he lived off enamel and molars. That the more teeth he had, the more he could take from others. And now, he was back. In a final act of defiance, drive. Harris left a tooth under his own pillow, his own, yanked from his jaw with trembling fingers. He placed it under the cushion like a child would, daring the creature to come. That night, he heard the clicking. The floor creaked. The door opened. The next morning, drive. Harris was gone. Only the tooth remained. In its place was a note. One more, and I will be whole again. The footage from that night showed the man once more. This time, he smiled directly at the camera. The last frame showed his mouth beginning to open, and still opening, wider and wider, rows and rows of human teeth, growing endlessly. To this day, his face is still seen in security cameras around Biloxi. Always silent, always smiling, and always clicking.